My name is Linda Harris, and I'm 58 years old. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood on the outskirts of Austin, Texas. For most of my life, I worked as a nurse. I cared for hundreds of patients, those battling cancer, heart failure, trauma, and even those who didn't make it. I thought I understood death. But then I became the patient, and everything changed. The unexpected diagnosis. It all began on an autumn day in 2023. I noticed a small lump in my left breast while taking a shower. At first, I brushed it off. Probably hormonal, I thought. But within weeks, it grew harder, more defined, and painful. I knew something wasn't right. After a series of tests and a biopsy, the doctor called me into his office. His eyes were gentle but heavy. "Linda, you have stage 3 breast cancer. The tumor has started to spread to your lymph nodes." I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just froze. I had delivered news like this to patients before, from the side of the bed as a nurse. I had seen their tears, their breakdowns. But hearing it for myself, that was a whole different kind of silence. I drove home without the radio. Didn't call anyone. Just sat at the kitchen table, holding a cup of cold tea, staring out the window, watching the world go on outside as if nothing had happened. The battle begins. 2 weeks later, I started chemotherapy. After just the first session, I was vomiting uncontrollably. My hair began to fall out in thick clumps. My skin became pale and dry. Every morning felt like climbing a mountain. I lived alone. My 2 grown sons had their own families, far from the city. I didn't want to burden them. I was always the strong one, the caregiver, the rock. But now, I was crumbling. Nights were the worst. I couldn't sleep because of the pain, couldn't eat because of the nausea, and above all, I felt utterly alone. That loneliness began to erode my faith. I used to believe in God. I was raised Catholic, went to church every Sunday, read the Bible before bed. But now, in the silence of my suffering, I felt like he was gone. I would whisper into the darkness at night, "God, if you're really there, where are you?" That one night, I remember it so clearly. It was a cold winter night. The wind howled through the hospital windows. I was lying in bed in a sterile white room. White walls, white sheets, fluorescent lights buzzing above. I was in pain, not just in my body, but deep in my soul. I gasped for breath, tears falling silently onto my pillow. I wasn't even asking for healing anymore. I had no strength left to hope. I just whispered, barely a breath, "Lord, I don't want to die alone. If you're really there, just come to me once, please." And then, I fell asleep. The dream or something more. I don't know if I was dreaming, sleeping, or somewhere in between, but I found myself standing in the middle of a vast meadow. It was glowing with golden light, like sunrise, but more alive. There was no sun, but everything shone. The grass beneath my feet was soft and green. The air smelled like lavender and fresh rain. There was no pain, no fear, only a deep, unshakable peace, like the kind you feel when you're a child, safe in your mother's arms. Then, I saw a figure walking toward me. He wore a white robe, tall, radiant, but not blinding, warm and strong. I didn't need to ask. I knew it was Jesus. He didn't say his name. I didn't ask for proof. I just felt it in the deepest part of my being. I fell to my knees, not out of fear, but because his love overwhelmed me. He came closer, placed his hand on my head, large, gentle, and scarred at the wrist. Then he lifted me to my feet and looked into my eyes, deep, long, like time stopped. Then he spoke. His voice was soft but echoed like a lullaby through my soul. "I know you're tired. I know you're afraid. But I am here, and I have never left you. I won't promise you won't feel pain, but I promise you will never walk through it alone." I broke down crying, but it wasn't sadness. It was the overwhelming sense of being fully loved, completely, without condition. He wrapped his arms around me, holding me close. My heart, my body, my soul, they melted into that light. When I woke up, I opened my eyes in the dim hospital room. The heart monitor still beeped, the IV still dripped, but the cold was gone. I looked out the window, just as the morning light crept over the horizon, a soft, golden glow that warmed my chest. I began to weep, not from fear or pain, but because I knew he had come. I don't know if it was a dream, but the feeling was too real. That love, that voice, that touch, it couldn't have come from my imagination. It was more real than anything I'd ever known. What happened after? From that day on, I changed. I kept doing treatments. I still had nausea, fevers, insomnia, but now I carried something I had lost long ago: hope. I began to pray every morning, not for healing, but for the courage to keep going. And something strange happened. The tumor began to shrink. My doctors were stunned. They called it a highly unexpected response. I called it a miracle. I'm not sure how long I'll live, but that no longer scares me, because I know God is with me. In every breath, every night, every moment of weakness, I am no longer alone. A message to you: if you're reading or hearing this story, and you're hurting, if you feel hopeless,